Climate change will affect food supply, but working out how has always been tricky. The International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI, used two models to forecast how the world's climate will change by 2050. Here, greens show the areas of least temperature change, orange most. In the first model, average maximum temperatures will rise across most of the world by between 2 and 3 degrees Celsius. Areas that will experience the least change tend to be inland, though South-Central Africa will change the most. The second model predicts steeper rises in average maximum temperature, particularly in Canada, Russia and Western Europe. Africa, India and China, by contrast, will remain relatively stable. The first model is drier as well as cooler. Here, reds and oranges show areas with a predicted decrease in precipitation, greens and blues an increase. The model predicts declines in precipitation across Africa, South America and southwestern Europe, and rises along parts of South America's coast, West Africa and Southeast Asia. In the second model, most of Asia, North America and Africa will grow rainier, while eastern South America and Western Europe will grow significantly drier. Whatever the details, the results are the same. Crop yields are likely to fall across much of the developing world, depending on how effectively the Earth can sequester carbon dioxide. Dry land will grow too arid and floods more frequent in tropical regions. There will be fewer calories per person, and they will be more expensive. In the year 2000, most of Africa had just over 2,300 calories or less available per person. South Asia, North Africa and the Middle East fared slightly better, and East Asia was approaching 3,000. Without climate change, those numbers would have gone up around the world. By 2050, no developing region would have had less than 2,450 calories per person per day. In both models with climate change, calorie yields will fall from their 2000 levels in both developed and developing countries, causing a rise in child malnutrition rates. In sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, the two regions that will be most affected by climate change, 33 million and 75 million children under 5 years old were malnourished in the year 2000. In the absence of climate change, by 2050, sub-Saharan Africa's total would have risen to 42 million, and significantly fewer children in South Asia would have been malnourished. In the first model, with climate change, India and its neighbours would have around 48 million malnourished children, and sub-Saharan Africa fares far worse than it would have done without climate change. The second model is almost the same for sub-Saharan Africa, but worse for India. The author of the IFPRI report argues that only a new green revolution could keep food yields high enough. The technology exists. The problem, alas, is getting it into the fields.